it's Ann here. Thank you so much for stopping by. Today, as promised, here is the video where I will be showing how I swatched out all the markers from my purchase, my recent purchase at Dollarama of these water-based markers. The Artist series, where there are 12 markers in each pack. I bought 5 different packs that have 5 different color combinations as indicated by the little colored squares here. These squares with the numbers match the markers that are in each set. And there were 5 different sets available at the Dollarama I was at, so that is what I purchased. I wanted to compare these to another series of water-based markers that was sold at Dollarama previously. This, I think, was maybe a few years ago. They were labeled the Crafts brand. They came in a pack of 6 at the time. They were also $4, but like I said, there were 6 in them, and they came in different sets, and they were labeled either fluorescent, pastel, spring, charm, skin, and candy collection. So those were from a few years ago. They are water-based markers, and now this year these water-based markers are under the Artist series, but the barrels are the same. And there are some colors that repeat themselves, some numbers and colors that repeat themselves from the set from this year to the previous set. Now, what I did is I swatched all the markers out. I had already swatched the Craft collection, which is a 6-pack collection when I got them. So what I did is I swatched each set of marker with its own little swatch set. So I did that for the first collection, the Craft collection. And the water and the new collection from this year at Dollarama. So to see how I swatched out all the markers into this one set, upcoming in this video, you will see a pre-filmed section where I swatched out all the colors, all the different colors, I should say, of the markers into one big set. I tried to go from the lightest to the darkest, and I tried to do it in color families as best as I could. And I have notes here showing notes indicating where some markers have been the same number has been used in multiple sets, and some is the same number but the colors are different. So I have all that noted on the sheets here, and I will explain that a little bit more in the video. So first of all, I wanted to say that if you buy every single set of these markers, there will be some repeats, but there will be some surprises as well. And one thing that I can tell you for sure is that in the newer kit, there is a black in each set. The number 120 black is in each of the 5 sets. So that's definitely one that repeats. There was no black in the previous Craft 6 packs of the markers. So just a heads up on that. Okay, so here's the part of the next part of the video. I show the actual swatching of these sheets. What you don't see in the video upcoming is that I labeled the sheets afterwards. I wrote Dollarama Artists Series and Crafts water-based double tip markers, because again, I know I'm repeating myself, but some people will need for me to say this again. These are the Artist Series. There's 12 markers in a pack. Yes, they are $4. This is what is available currently at Dollarama. And these are the Craft Series, and these are an older set that we could get at Dollarama, and there were 6 markers in the pack, also for $4. Some of the sets have already been swatched out, and in this part of the video I will swatch out the remaining sets. Again, I have a swatch sheet for each individual set. Here I'm showing how it's a brand new pack of markers. I just opened them up, and I am going to be testing and trying out each marker on the swatch sheet. I've already labeled each rectangle with the name and number, the name of the color and number of each marker. Each marker has a dual tip. There is one end is a chisel tip, the other end is a round or bullet tip, and I try both tips just to make sure, one, that they're working, and two, that I can have a visual reminder that I can use either tip for these colors. These are, by the way, they are water-based markers. I feel I need to repeat this. Some people confuse the water-based and alcohol-based. And sometimes I've been asked, would these be the same as Copics? And no, I have to tell you, these are not like Copic markers at all. Copic markers are alcohol-based markers, similar to Sharpie markers, which are also alcohol-based. And they will react differently than water-based markers. The Dollarama markers that I am showing you here and swatching are all water-based. Because these are water-based markers and I'm not taking the time to color, you can see that there's a lot of streaking, which is quite normal with this type of marker. And I'm not an expert when it comes to coloring with water-based markers, but that's not what this video is about. This is really about just getting all the colors out, making sure each marker works, and comparing the colors. And another tip I have for you is that one of the reasons we like to make swatches of our products is that sometimes the caps and the inks are not the same color, or sometimes they're mislabeled. It does happen. Hasn't happened to me very often, but it can happen. So it's a good idea to always swatch out your markers and any coloring mediums that you have. So there, I'm just putting that swatch sheet back in the kit to show you that's what I do with each kit. Each of the Artist Series kits I've labeled with a letter, so it's easier to identify and to know which marker belongs with which sets. I'm just quickly showing that these sets were already done. I'm just pulling out the various swatches to show you the differences. Here are all the sets have been swatched out individually, and these will be helpful now for me to fill out the larger swatch sheets. because on the swatch sheets, what I attempted to do was only swatch out each color and not each marker, because there were several markers, for example the black one, that is the same 120 black in each set. So I didn't want to swatch out the 120 the 5 times that I have it. I just thought one swatch is enough. And so by doing all these individual sets first, it helped me narrow down how many colors to use on my complete swatch sheet. So in making the swatch sheets, I tried to go from lightest to darkest and stay within color families instead of just the sets. And that's what I'm showing you there. That's what I've already done here. I've already taken the time to figure out the order of the colors, and I've labeled each rectangle with the number and name of the number of the marker and name of the color of the marker. So now I'm going to swatch them all out, and this is when I will add notes indicating which set each color can be found in and which colors are repeated and in which sets. I will be repeating myself several times in this video only because it's hard not to, and I'm just trying to be as clear as possible for my viewers. I start the swatching with what I consider to be the lightest color in all the sets, which is the 141 Buttercup Yellow, and that was in what I've labeled the E set, which is one of the Artist series, which is one of the newer 2023 sets available at Dollarama. And then I follow that with the 123 Fluorescent Yellow, which is labeled set number 3, which is one of the Craft collection sets. So that's the previous set, and that would have been the fluorescent set, for example. So by using a letter for the Artist series set and a number for the Craft series set, I'm able to fit all that on the sheet instead of writing out the entire name of the collection. I just put a number and a letter. Again, each rectangle I am using both ends of the marker just to have a visual reminder how each color looks with each different nib. I'll just proceed to fill out all the rectangles and make notes when I see any colors repeating themselves, or I see that there is inconsistency with either the name, the name of the color or number. Now the number 23, the orange colored marker, is the first one that we have here that repeats itself. I found it in the B and C set. So these are B and C for me are both the Artist series sets, the ones that are 12 markers in a pack. So that's the first one there. So that's why I wrote B and C under the rectangle. Now here's where it gets interesting. the number 24, the Marigold. I found 3 number 24 marigolds in 3 different sets, and they were 3 different colors. They were still in the orange family, but they were different from one another. So that is why I have them repeated. So there is a marigold in one of the B sets, so that's one of the newer sets, the 12 packs from 2023. And there is also a 24 marigold repeated in one of the craft sets and in another of the craft sets. And for your information, that is the Skin collection and the Spring collection set. Now, up until this point, my color chart coloring was going okay. But the number 24 marigold kerfuffle there really kind of changed things. And as you, I don't know if you can really see it, but the next two, 139 flesh and 31 dark yellow, I'm not sure that those were the correct names to give those colors, but anyway, that is what was in the sets, and that's why they're there. Then I follow that with a fluorescent orange, which really, obviously, I need to work on my color sketching layouts. Here at the bottom of the sheet, I'm just making a note there about the marigold colors, how there are 3 different ones. And it's important for me to remember that, because I don't want to have issues later on when I pick out the colors that I'm going to use in the project. The next color I swatch is the number 11 Carmine, and that one is also repeated. It's in 2 of the sets in the Artist series, again the 12 marker packs. So that's for me, I labeled each set as C and E. And then next we have the 198 Tender Pink. What's interesting about 198 Tender Pink is that it is the number and the color name are repeated, but they're very different. The 198 Tender Pink in the newer set, which is in the Artist series, the 12 sets of markers in a pack, is actually darker than the 198 Tender Pink, which is in the older set, the Candy collection. And actually, the following color, the 136 Blush, which is in a newer set, which I've labeled A, which is a 12 pack of the Artist series set, is closer to that second Tender Pink. Because of that, I choose to label each marker with the letter of its set or number, just so I can put the right one back in the right set if I take them all out at once. Because I will probably use them together to make like some blending. Anyway, the next color, 136 Blush, that's in one of the newer sets, and that's why it's labeled A. So then part of the footage that I'm going to be talking about is actually not here. I think the battery on my phone died, so I can't show that to you, but I can tell you for your information that I noticed that the number 125 Fluorescent Pink, which is in my number 3 set, which is the Fluorescent collection from the former sets, the Crafts markers, and has the same name as the F126. They're both called Fluorescent Pink. The F26 is in the Candy collection, again, the 6-pack craft marker set. And I found that them to be quite different, although they have the same name. Different numbers, but same name. I thought they were quite different. So I wanted to let you know about that one. Now, as for the blues and greens that you can see just a part of here, I'm sorry, part of the blues is off the screen there. I can tell you that the number 185, which is the pale blue light, does repeat in 2 of the sets, the 2 of the artist series, the 12 marker sets, and as well as the 182 Frost Blue. Then I see a discrepancy with the number 63, the Cerulean Blue. I have it twice in 2 sets, in one of the artist series sets, and the other set was the set number 3, which is the the fluorescent collection. They're both given number 63 Cerulean Blue, but they are very different. And also number 69, the Prussian Blue. The number 69 Prussian Blue that came in the Charm collection set is different than the number 69, which comes in 2 sets. So it's repeated in 2 sets of the artist series, which are the 12 marker packs. Then I saw that the 182 Frost Blue is repeated in 2 of the newer sets of the 12-pack artist sets. And then the Aquamint 179 is repeated in 3 of the sets of the 12-pack artist series sets. Another interesting thing in the blues is that the number 144, which is labeled Baby Blue, and the number 66, which is also labeled Baby Blue, are very, very different from each other. And the 144 Baby Blue is in one of the artist series set, which I have labeled D, and the number 66 Baby Blue is in another artist series set. So just be aware that same name, but different colors, different values. After that, what other repeat did I see? I'm looking at my notes. Oh, I saw a repeat in the blue-gray BG5. So that one shows up in one of the newer sets, and it's also in one of the older sets, which was the spring collection. And finally, the black. The black is only in the 12-pack artist series, and there's 1 black in each of the packs, so I have 5 of them. Now, if there were other sets in the crafts sets, the ones that come 6 markers in a pack, I don't know. I have 5 sets of them. If there was another set, I never saw it. So maybe there was another set and I just missed it. And if there's more sets in the artist series, I haven't come across them yet. And if I do, I will have to update you of that in the future. To summarize, out of the 90 markers that I purchased at Dollarama, this includes the 5 sets of the Crafts blendable water-based dual-ended markers that came in sets of 6, plus the 5 sets of 12 water-based with double tip markers labeled Artist Series, I have a total of 90 markers. Of all these markers, I have deduced that there is 78 colors that are different. That means there are a total of 12 markers in there that are repeats. This includes the 5 blacks that are repeated in each set of the newer artist series. I did count one of the blacks in the 78 colors though. So there are 4 extras there that go into that 12 of the extra colors. I hope that this is useful. I hope that it's helpful to you if you want to know, hey, should I invest in these markers or not? That is really a personal preference, I have to say. My feeling is that the first set that came out, the Crafts water-based markers, I thought that there was not enough colors with all the sets purchased to make it interesting for me. I find that the newer series of the 12 marker packs have a better variety. However, there is repeats in both the old version and the newer version. Again, in the sets of the 6 marker packs, so there is a repeat of the fluorescent pink only in name. There's one in the fluorescent collection, and there's one in the candy collection. The name of the color is repeated, but the numbers are different. And then there is a repeat of lavender in 2 of the sets, in the pastel collection and in the spring collection. Same number, same name. In the newer sets, there seem to be a few more repeats, maybe. The orange was one that's repeated twice in the new series. It's in 2 of the sets, as well as the carmine. And then I see that again for the pale blue light, the 185, and the frost blue 182. And there was a discrepancy with the baby blue. In one set in the artist series, it is number 66, and in another set in the same artist series, it's number 144. They have the same name, but they are 2 different types of blues. And the Prussian blue number 69, which repeats in 2 of the newer sets, and it's in 1 of the older craft sets. And finally, the blacks that there are 5 of. I hope that you're not too confused and that I gave you as much information as possible, and it is helpful. If you like this video, please like, comment, share, subscribe, click the bell so you'll be notified when I post new videos. Thank you so very much for stopping by, for watching, and for your comments. I really appreciate it. So take care of yourself and stay crafty. Bye!